Hello and welcome to a Homespun house. My name is Molly and thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I have been doing a lot more knitting than normal. However, my knitting has been quite monogamous as I feel like my knitting has been just in general for a long time. So some time ago, not really that long ago actually, I cast on a Color Craze shawl by Tammy Gore out of one of our 10-gram minis sets. So I don't have the one that I cast on with me, but I do have our rustic collection of mini sets, which my husband has decided he would like one of these knit up in a Color Craze shawl for him. When I'm going to get around to that, I don't know, but I can definitely see knitting this come next fall, possibly, along with our Be Quiet and Drive colorway, which I featured last episode along with this yarn. So I could not be happier with this knit. I think I knit it in about a week and a half to 2 weeks. I could be completely wrong, and it's finished, you guys. It's so big. I'm not even sure how I'm going to be able to show it to you on the camera. So the funny thing is that this used exactly. I could not have designed these 10-gram mini skein sets more perfectly for this shawl. So when I started making these different sets, I thought that they would be so beautiful for so many different things. Blankets, a handful of shawls, socks, pullovers. I feel like anything you could knit, you could make with one of these sets, or any mini skein sets in general. So I had been mulling over designing a pattern, possibly knitting from a pattern, and then I saw Tammy Gore's Color Craze shawl and I knew that this would be so perfect for these sets. So what I ended up going with was a skein of our Passenger yarn, which is this main colorway that you see just throughout this entire shawl. It's down here at the bottom and I love it so much. I paired this along with our Fresh Sheets mohair, which is a cream colored mohair, and I carried it all throughout the entire shawl. I think that this shawl is one that is just absolutely beautiful over the shoulders, which is how I wear my shawls a lot. I had knit night with two of my friends on Friday, and I told them that this is how I wear a lot of my shawls. And one of them has two twin little girls, and she laughed, saying that it would never stay on her shoulders for long at all. But mine stay on my shoulders a lot, especially if I'm sitting and knitting. Like, I would say I don't wear it like this during the day. This is something that I do at nighttime because I'm always so cold. I need to cuddle up with a shawl wrapped around my shoulders, some cozy knitting, a blanket, and even a hot water bottle. It is like my favorite thing ever. For those of you who don't have a hot water bottle and you get chilly when you're sitting or laying in bed, we like our room freezing at nighttime. So that hot water bottle just gets me cozy in bed. And as soon as I get warm, I set it aside or I put it down at my feet. But anyway, so this is one that I have been enjoying wrapping over my shoulders in the evening since I have finished it. It has only been, well, Friday evening, and today is Sunday. So it's been 2 days since it's been finished, and I have been thoroughly enjoying wearing this piece. It is so soft. The mini skein set was dyed up on our plump merino base, which is an 80% superwash merino and a 20% nylon. And then I knit the main, I'm going to call it, body of the shawl in our Passenger colorway, which is an merino cashmere nylon. And they flow so wonderfully together. If you did not know that these are two separate yarns, it would never even be a question in your mind of, are they indeed two separate yarns? They flow and melt so nicely together, especially with the mohair yarn that I carried along with it. It's a 70% kid mohair and 30% silk. So I love it. And something very exciting on the topic of merino cashmere nylon is the mill where I purchased my merino cashmere nylon. I wrote them, pleading them, telling them that I desperately wanted, well, asking them, a merino cashmere nylon, the same base in DK, and they said that they'll be making it happen. So my next order, which should be arriving sometime this week, will contain a lot of merino cashmere nylon in DK. So that will be popping up in the shop, I think in about 2 weeks' time is when all of that yarn will be processed and added to the shop. So I love this so much. It's such a versatile knit. You could wear it on either side. This is the back side. And then this is what I've chosen to be the front side. So I couldn't recommend this knit more. I knit it, what I feel is like a speed demon for me with my children, my family, my job. And it's a huge shawl, but it doesn't seem like it when you're knitting it because of all of the contrast of the brioche, which is so easy. I've had so many people messaging me telling me they're intimidated by the brioche but desperately want to knit something with it. Don't worry about it. It's literally knit stitches and then yarn over slip one. So knit one, yarn over slip one, knit one, yarn over slip one. That is simply what a brioche stitch is. Or purl one, yarn over slip one, purl one, yarn over slip one. So that's a brioche knit and a brioche purl. And it's so simple. Just try it. If you have any questions, I'm so happy to answer for you. Send over a little video. It's so much fun. I could not recommend it more. And it creates such a beautiful texture and stitch and reversible look. So I couldn't recommend it more. So another thing that I have finished that's actually not something that I knit, but it's something that one of my samples knit for a homespun house. And this is a Tena sweater by Kaitlin Hunter. It's in our Piper colorway. And this is a very, very boxy garment. It's nice because it has fitted sleeves, which I really, really enjoy. I also like, you know, huge sleeves here that gather, which is a design that Kaitlin Hunter often features in her pullovers, which I have yet to knit. But I really like this fitted sleeve along with this really, really boxy body. So like I said, it's knit in our Piper colorway, our soft sock base, which is a 75% superwash wool and a 25% nylon. It has this pretty lace detail at the bottom, which is, I guess, kind of hard to see now that I've folded it up. I should probably unfold that. And my test knitter did such a beautiful job. I think she knit this in about 2.5 weeks as well. She definitely flew, and she's the one who I mentioned has 2 little twin babies and a little almost 3-year-old boy. So the third finished object that I have is again not something that I made, but it's something that my sweet little Ruby Sue made, who is 3 years old. So she goes to Kita or school, and they do a lot of handcrafts, finger knitting. I think they've just recently started doing a little bit of spinning, and my eldest is knitting and doing some sewing and things like that. And so Ruby, for Valentine's Day, had hand felted me this sweet, sweet little heart. I can just imagine her choosing all of the different colors and material. I believe that they used cookie cutters and then placed their yarn in there, and then I think they hand felted with soap is what she said. I hadn't asked her teacher, but I asked Ruby about it and she said that they wet felted it. So she did such a great job, and it's so, so sweet. Once she brought it home, she did play with it a bit and the fibers kind of pulled apart. So I went in and just did a teensy weensy bit of needle felting because this is something so special that I don't want to come apart. And every time I look at it, I think about her and all of the different colors, because this is definitely not one kind of variegated wool. It's definitely little pieces that she chose, and she even chose a little bit of fire star here, which I really, really adore that she added to it. So a little bit of glitter. So this is sweet, and it sits on my desk while I'm working or sewing or doing a little bit of knitting, answering emails. because this is the room that I've started to answer emails in, down in the dye studio where we process everything and where my mom does all of the labeling, yarn winding, tying of yarn. There aren't any windows. So it's connected to a room that has windows, so we always have the door open and have fresh light coming through. Fresh light. What does that even mean? But yeah, so it's nice to sit up here because it gets so much light in this room. The next thing that I've been working on is what I would call a half finished object, because it is a sock and I still need to weave the ends in on this. And I was actually playing around with the idea of keeping it inside out like this. So this is the inside of my sock where all of my purl stitches are. I did do a fish lips kiss heel, and then I used contrasting colors for the toe and the cuff. I used hopscotch. So right here and right here, and I did use our merino cashmere nylon base. And the main color of the sock, oh, I have a dropped stitch, so that's why I made that strange face, because I do have a progress keeper here holding on to my dropped stitch so that I remember to weave that in. The main color of this yarn or sock is our plot twist colorway, and I love it so much. These socks are for my husband Robert, which is why the foot is longer than my head. I hope he loves these. I think I'm going to save them until, I don't know. It's not for anything special. I might just give them to him on a fall day. I might save them for Christmas, for his birthday. I haven't decided. So the first one is finished, and I have cast the second one on. I don't have much of it finished, but I'm probably about 2/3 or half of the way into the cuff. And I'm enjoying knitting this. It's an easy thing to pick up. It's something that doesn't have any sort of time frame that I want it finished in. It's just something small that's very, very simple to take with me. The next thing that I've been working on is a new knit, and it is, I think it's called the Leksak. Let's see. The Leksak. I'm knitting this for, again, my little Ruby for her birthday. She will be turning 4 this May. And I've been looking at this pattern for a very long time. Every time I see it, it reminds me of both of my girls. It definitely looks like something both of them would wear. My eldest has seen it and she says that she wants one, which makes me feel a little bit horrible to be knitting this for Ruby for her birthday, because then just Ruby has one and Elodie has been saying she wants one. So anyway, I am knitting this out of our Conspiracy colorway, because Conspiracy is a colorway that mixes so many different colorways. This is the first time that I am alternating skeins for a garment. I'm pretty sure that this is going to use 2 full fingering weight skeins of yarn. So like I said, this is our Conspiracy colorway. I am using our gold Stellina yarn because Ruby definitely needs glitter in her Leksak. And I hope that she loves this. So I was contemplating between whether I should use a tonal yarn, because I feel like it's just so classic, so Scandinavian, and I don't know, but I really had to put myself in Ruby's shoes and think, what would Ruby love the most? And I came to the conclusion that Ruby probably wouldn't even care, but I think her unicorn soul would love Conspiracy and tons of color. So the pattern is knit in a DK weight yarn. I think it's knit on size 4mm needles, and I am using 3mm needles, so a size US 2.5, and I am knitting the size 6 year. So Ruby will be turning 4, and I figure that the gauge of the 6 year with a 3mm needle, and I'll do a little bit of math to add some stitches and make it so that it will fit her, will work perfectly. So here is the beginnings of my Leksak. And I just love this construction that you can just slip it on, kind of wear it. It's open-ended. It's just a pretty fun, warm layering piece. And I think I haven't decided if I'm going to knit it short sleeves, but I'm thinking 3/4 length sounds like something that would be nice, as it's warm, and it would be something nice for her to be able to wear like longer than normal. And I feel like a long sleeve pullover would just be too warm. She already has one of those. I want this to be a piece that she can layer. So maybe even short sleeves would make sense. So anyway, Conspiracy is knitting up so pretty. I'm loving the touches of Stellina in there. And I think while this is busy because there is so much color, Ruby wears a lot of plain colored shirts. She wears stripes. I just think that this will be a fun, bold piece in her clothes, and it will be something that she'll love. I think this is going to take a long time to knit because it's so long. It's in fingering weight, and it's 800 grams of yarn, so 8 ounces of yarn, and that's a lot for something to knit for a 3-year-old. It's basically like the most yarn I could possibly use for something for her. So I am enjoying that. It's so much fun to knit with something with so much color, to see all of the different stitches pop up as I knit them. And I'm having a lot of fun imagining her wearing it. I feel like so many things that I've knit for them lately, pullovers, I'm really gambling on whether they're going to fit or not. The last 3 pullovers that I knit were basically from my own design. I get that the Leksak is a pattern that's written, but I'm using it as a basis, a recipe, and I'm not going off of really any of the numbers. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm using the size 6 as an idea, but for the most part, I'm flying by the seat of my pants, and I hope that it works out. I think I'll take a garment that I feel like fits her nicely and go off of the measurements of that. I think that's the best idea to do, because I'm not going to try it on her. It's a surprise, but I have 2 months to make it, and I'm excited. I hope she loves it. I know she'll love it. We still have our April Yarn and Charm Club in the shop. I'm so happy that it has been so well received, that we are having all different weights in the shop, that being sock weight or fingering weight and DK weight. You can choose sock sets for either of those. You can play with charms if you want to add a charm to your subscription. And I hope that you guys love it. If you look at the photo for the club listing, that is definitely as an idea as to how the colorways are going to look. So I think it's beautiful. I think the yarn is beautiful, of course, and I hope that you guys love it too. I have been preparing also, and I'm really, really excited for the Knitters Guild Knit-In at the Alliant Energy Center, the 16th and 17th of March. So that's next weekend. So this time next weekend, I will be at the Alliant Energy Center having a booth, selling my things, and I can't wait. I have all of the yarn dyed up for it. I'm all set, and I'm really, really looking forward to Friday, where I will be setting up my booth and getting everything ready. So I hope that you guys love everything that I have to bring. The booth size is quite small, so it will be very, very interesting setting up and deciding which yarns and bases and things like that I'm going to be selling to you. So let me just show you some of those yarns. I have recently dyed up a lot of mohair for the shop, which is something that I mentioned last episode, and I didn't bring up any of the tonals to share with you guys. So if you head on over to a Homespun house, you can click on shop. There will be a menu that drops down, and you can click on mohair, and you will see all of the different colorways that are currently in the shop. This week I will be working on adding even more tonal mohair to the shop. If you are looking for speckled mohair, that will be, for the time being, under each of the individual colorways, if there's mohair available. So one of the speckled colorways that I wanted to share with you is Comfy Sofa. This is a colorway that is one of my favorites. It is currently in the shop on quite a few bases, and come Wednesday it will be in the shop on every single base. So it's pretty well stocked, but I've recently dyed up and restocked all of those bases that are missing on the shop. So that's Comfy Sofa. The next one is Birthday Cake, which I think is so pretty. This would be a really fun one to add to fresh sheets, for example, or any tonal. You could knit it with its own birthday cake colorway as well. I also have Indie, which is the colorway that I knit my no frills out of. This one has a lot of really pretty pink coral shades to it, along with that gorgeous pop of bright yellow. It has some blues in there too. And then I have a new colorway called Ramble. This is just a really beautiful, lightly speckled color. Heart-shaped box. A super bright one to follow, Sucker Punch. I really want to knit something with this. A cowl, a shawl. I feel like that red would be so beautiful. Imagine this as a hitchhiker by Joji Locatelli. That could be really, really fun. This could be really fun along with Jello, which is one of our tonals. So another bright one, Early Riser. I feel like spring is coming, and this is the perfect pair of socks. This would also be a really pretty shawl. Party on My Needles. Here we have To the Moon and Back. I feel like this is such a romantic colorway. Probably because of the name, but also just the colors. I mean, they're deep, dark, mysterious. I can move that down so you can see a bit more of the colors hiding under the ball band. Woodland. This is also a really pretty, heavily speckled, earthy colorway. I have a sample knitter knitting a Bennett Sisters shawl with this, along with Whale Belly for mohair contrast. Dementor's Kiss. I honestly toyed with knitting Ruby's Mixuck in this colorway. I just thought the black would be a little bit too not right for Rubes. And then I have, of course, Conspiracy. So it's really interesting how different yarn looks in the cake than when it's knit up. Or this isn't caked, in the skein. So that's why it's always so nice to have samples of things. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun knitting this week. I cannot wait to head on over to the Alliant Energy Center, like I said, in Madison, Wisconsin, and meet you and share my yarns with you. We've been planning a really, really fun trip for spring break, which we're looking forward to. That's in 2 weeks. And we will be heading to Arizona with our girls, and then we're taking our nephew along, which I think will be so much fun. I'm so excited to bring him with. The girls love him. He will be 14 this year. Will he be 14 or will he be 15? I'm having a mind fog right now. I can't think about it. But anyway, yeah, I'm really, really excited. Looking forward to it, to the warm weather. It should be about 27 degrees while we're there, 28, 29 Celsius, 80s Fahrenheit. And I can't wait to go swimming every day, to walk around, to visit all the beautiful rock shops. We're going to spend a day in Denver, which will be so much fun. And I can't wait. It will be so nice to get away. So yeah, talk with you guys later. I hope that you have a nice week ahead.